It's Monday, October 10. In the headlines, the world recognizes Mental Health Day. Regionally, Air Canada returns to Antigua and Barbuda. And in sports, Jamaican batsman John Campbell slapped with a 4-year ban. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Today, October 10, is World Mental Health Day. The overall objective of World Mental Health Day is to raise awareness of mental health issues around the world and to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. The day provides an opportunity for all stakeholders to work on mental health issues and talk about their work and what more needs to be done to make mental health care a reality for people worldwide. The Pan American Health Organization held live conversations under the theme, Make Mental Health and Well-Being for All a Global Priority. Here's a look at what was discussed. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress. Representatives of various departments at PAHO discussed the significance of maintaining mental health in a virtual conversation. They agreed that mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood to adolescence through adulthood.
Mental health is just as important as physical health. Treating disorders and conditions like major depression, schizophrenia are just as critical to helping people lead happy lives as treating any other condition like diabetes or fixing a broken bone. There should be really no shame in having a mental health issue. So we here at PAHO, we strongly encourage member states to align their policies on mental health, their plans and their actions to align with the recommendations that we as a region have put forward in the last Pan American Sanitary Conference.
The Pan American Health Organization is launching #DoYourShare to support mental health, a campaign that seeks to curb the stigma and discrimination experienced by people with mental health conditions. Dr. Claudia Cayetano explains.
Not only for adolescents or for healthcare providers, but also the general population to do their share, to increase awareness about the impact of stigma and discrimination against people who are seeking help. As has been discussed so far, the stigma and discrimination on people continues to have a lasting effect on their health. And this has resulted in many times on people having even financial burden even for people to stay, to hide and not being able to come forward about their issues. So as a social media campaign, it will be we expected this to be a broader reach, allowing those who have faced traditional forms of media to be still included in these discussions.
She says studies show a 54 to 70% presence of stigma and discrimination in the region.
We also have some studies that have talked about, up to 90%, which is very high, 90% people who experience a mental health disorder, they feel rejected, they feel like they cannot interact with others, and they themselves start to stigmatize themselves. And you ask, what's the difference between a stigma and discrimination? As you know, when we talk about the stigma, this is something very important because it's an attitude that we have, that we're thinking people, they're different, that they're not the same. So, and then when you talk about discrimination, it's actually a behavior, and that's the one that we can break. We can break discrimination because what we want people to have access to healthcare services. We want people to enjoy, have freedom to express themselves.
You should note that Jamaica is a member country of PAHO, and some of the data reflect information collected from our health authorities. Still on the issue of mental health, 21,000 grade 9 students are set to benefit from the government's school mental health literacy program. 500 administrators, counselors and teachers in 177 secondary institutions are to undergo mental health training over the next 3 months under the program. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has engaged the Ministry of Education and Youth in the $10 million partnership. According to the Health Ministry, this is in an effort to create a curriculum on how to appropriately respond to students' mental health challenges and conditions, thus raising awareness in schools to improve students' confidence, attitude and knowledge, as well as to reduce the stigma surrounding the common issue. While addressing the launch of the program in Hanover recently, Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, said, quote, "School is a fertile soil for developing good habits as well as for bad habits to be promulgated. So it is natural that we have to start there." End quote. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that Jamaica is on alert for contaminated cough syrups, even though it says the possibility of the items entering Jamaica is remote. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton in a statement says, quote, "Our records indicate that neither the manufacturer nor the product is registered with the Ministry of Health and Wellness," end quote. According to the medical product alert issued by the World Health Organization, WHO, on Wednesday, the 4 products are promethazine oral solution, Cofexmalin baby cough syrup, Macof baby cough syrup, and Magrip and cold syrup. It says the contaminated syrups may be linked to the deaths of 66 children in the African country of Gambia. 2 social housing solutions have been handed over to needy families in central Kingston. Minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister Floyd Green, who represented Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, said the government is tireless in its effort to deliver on its promise of constructing 70,000 housing units.
What you will find about the Prime Minister and the government that he leads is that he takes a full 360 approach to a problem. Him don't just look on one side of the problem and try to fix that. Him look on every angle of the problem. And he realized that we still have a lot of our people who are unable to afford a decent house. A lot of people who they have worked hard, they have done well, but they have not been able to own that piece of the rock.
Member of Parliament for the area, Donovan Williams, says the construction of the homes will revitalize the area and encourage civic pride.
There are some persons in life, given where they are at, their circumstances, such as their age, you know, there are certain inhibiting factors that you know they can't start over, no matter what you do. It's going to be difficult for them to start over. They don't have any rich relatives abroad who can send money to repair or fix the house. And that is the beautiful thing about this program. It zeroes in and attaches to people who really, really need the help.
He says other applications have been submitted for additional houses under the program.
As we speak, we have 7 applications in currently under the new social housing program. 3 have recently, yesterday I was advised, were approved. So, we are doing good in Central Kingston.
The units were constructed under the new social housing program. The program was developed to improve the housing conditions of the country's poor and disadvantaged by providing quality, affordable and sustainable housing. It is being implemented through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation in collaboration with the Hope Unit. 4 additional houses are now under construction in communities of Almond Town and Raytown. Many women are flocking to entrepreneurship for better flexibility, deeper purpose, and to be in control of their own legacies. According to the World Bank, globally, only 1 in 3 small, medium, and large business enterprises are owned by women. Think about it. Nenita Rodney is at the business desk with a story from one of these fearless women.
studies have shown that women in Jamaica remain at a disadvantage in the labor force. The government is investing in efforts to improve women's participation in the labor force through grants, mentorship, and policy. In this episode of The Young Bosses, we talk to Makeda Layla, CEO of People Plus Management Solutions Limited. Her story of survival in the world of business is truly inspirational.
People Plus helps entrepreneurs to start, build, and grow their businesses. So we have services from business registration, business coaching, mentorship, training, and we also provide virtual assistant services. We can help you in starting your business, registering your company or your business name in Jamaica. We do all the paperwork for you. We advise you on what business structure you should register. So we provide certain levels of services. We also help companies after registration to get their business bank account setting up. We help them with business coaching and strategy calls so that they are not just registered, but they at least have an idea of what to do next. In 2019, when I started, I was working at a corporate company, and I remember a friend saying to me that, Makeda, I think you need to start a business because you have transformed this company and you should be out there helping other companies to grow. And I thought about it. It was in September, and I was like, business, not me really. But then I thought about it and I said, why not? Because at least I'm using what I'm passionate about and I'm helping other persons to grow their business. When I just started out, I had a lot of fears, I would say. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought, who's going to buy my services? I'm this girl from Prospect, Clarendon. Like, I didn't go to those top schools or anything like that. But then having friends and knowing what you're about and knowing how passionate and how qualified I am, I like, but why can't I do it? Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I do it? And I believe that with God being my biggest push, it has been amazing. And it's not just to make money for us. It's really to see that their business is growing. It gives me pleasure to see and to get up to a text in the morning and say, hey, Makeda, guess what? I got this done, I got that done. I'm now doing this, I'm now doing that. That alone in of itself gives me the most joy. And it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. I am really happy and passionate that I found what I love and I'm doing what I love.
For your market updates, in foreign exchange trading for Friday, October 7, the US dollar sold for an average of $154.15. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $113.06. The pound sterling traded for $174.38, and the euro sold for an average of $151.93. In JSE trading, the JSE index advanced by 1,744 points. The junior market index declined by 20 points. The combined market index advanced by 1,443 points. And the all Jamaican composite index advanced by 601 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 101 stocks, of which 37 advanced, 44 declined, and 20 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Viable Preference, Barita Investments Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 1834 Investments Limited, and CAC 2000 9.5% cumulative redeemable preference shares. Trading firm were Access Financial Services Limited, CAC 2000 Limited, and Cargo Handlers Limited. The overall volume leaders were Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with over 5 million units, Derrimount Trading Company Limited with over 4 million units, and Dollar Financial Services Limited with over 2 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Plico Investment Fund was the volume leader with 510 shares, followed by Calypso Macro Index Fund with 10 shares being traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Goddard Enterprises Limited was the volume leader with over 6,000 shares. They were followed by Government of Barbados Bond Series B, which traded over 5,000 shares. Brent crude futures were down 17 cents at $97.75 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude was at $92.62, down 2 cents. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, we start in Antigua and Barbuda. Air Canada has resumed flights to Antigua and Barbuda in another boost for the strong recovery of tourism and in time for the winter season. Officials welcomed the aircraft at VC Bird International Airport on Saturday afternoon. Sherilyn Biza reports.
The airline's return will see 5 direct flights into the destination, with 4 originating from Toronto as of November. Beginning the week of Christmas, there will also be 1 from Montreal. Chief Executive Officer of the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority, Colin James, was elated.
I really just want to, from the bottom of my heart, to extend a very warm welcome. It's good to have you back. We love Canadians, we love Air Canada. The fact that you will be loading us up with a lot of flights this winter season is music to my ears. It's music to Ms. Francis says, the folks at the airport, and everybody in Antigua and Barbuda who depend upon the tourism industry for our livelihoods.
Tourism Minister Honorable Charles Fernandez echoed similar sentiments.
I really want to join with the CEO in welcoming you all. This is really very, very big for us. Canada is our 3rd most important source market. So you play a very, very important role. I just wanted to say how important it is again to have you here, how happy we are that you're here with us.
The tourism minister informed the group of the offerings the country is putting in place for their clients in terms of increased room stock at Royalton Chick, Jolly Beach, PLH on Barbuda, and Sandals. In terms of things to do, Fernandez also spoke of Chuka's iconic tour site at Fort Barrington. CEO of the Antigua-Barbuda Airport Authority, Yoletta Francis, also added her voice in welcoming the group.
Welcome, welcome, Air Canada. We missed you. Yeah. So, on behalf of Sir Honorable Robin Yearwood, who's the Minister of Civil Aviation, the board, Chairman and the Board of Directors, myself and my management team, I really, really want to wish Air Canada a welcome back here to Antigua and Barbuda.
Air Canada's partnership and sector manager Helena Silva Inacio was excited.
On behalf of Air Canada and Air Canada Vacation, we would like to take a moment to note I'm very emotional because I'm very excited to be here, and how exciting is to welcome everyone back to Antigua and how thrilled we are to be offering this route back again.
According to Inacio, the partnership began over 64 years ago with Trans-Canada Airlines, commencing flights 15th December 1958. She says Air Canada is extremely proud to partner with the destination while expressing appreciation for the incredible support received. Inacio promised the travel agents will be great ambassadors for the destination. Gifts were presented to the captain, first officer, manager of product development, sector manager, and the crew. This is another boost for arrivals from Canada, adding to flights from WestJet and Sunwing.
In Barbados, there was an exchange of letters of intent between the government of Barbados and the Republic of China for the reconstruction of the stadium facility at Waterford. The signing had additional significance as it marked 45 years of diplomatic ties between the two countries, and also the 73rd anniversary of the founding of the Republic of China, which was a few days ago on October 1st.
This agreement is grant money. It's not a loan. It is grant funded. And it is in recognition of what really is 45 years of strong diplomatic relations between the People's Republic of China and now the government and people of Barbados. We are happy that we have been able to do this. The ambassador will tell you that I have been very clear that we may have to do it in 2 phases, because I do not want in any way for us not to have the opportunity for our people going to trials for the Olympics in 2024 to be affected. And therefore, as far as possible, we will try to make sure that we can have access to the track facilities by the beginning of 2024, even if it means that we have to go back and finish additional stands.
The redevelopment of the National Stadium will play an important role in the post-pandemic economy recovery of Barbados, providing employment, developing sports, improving people's livelihoods, and implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Planning and Development has received $22.5 million to execute the project titled BioReach, Biodiversity, Conservation and Agroecological Land Restoration in Productive Landscapes of Trinidad and Tobago. Here's more in this report.
The grant funding is a mix from the Global Environment Facility and co-financing commitment from the Government of Trinidad and Tobago. The project, valued at US $22,454,792, will promote biodiversity conservation, restore degraded lands, and improve livelihoods of rural communities in targeted productive landscapes throughout Trinidad and Tobago. BioReach will be jointly executed by the Environmental Management Authority, the National Agricultural Marketing and Development Corporation, NAMDEVCO, with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations as the GEF Implementing Agency and the Environmental Policy Planning Division as the National Technical Project Directorate.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell says his administration is prepared to lease an aircraft if Caribbean governments are unable to sort out the regional transportation sector by year-end. In an exclusive interview aired on WPG10, Mitchell said the regional airline sector needs urgent fixing and that there needs to be more decisive movement on the issue before year-end.
As far as I'm concerned, if by October or November we don't have an arrangement where us as leaders in the OECS are prepared to do that, then it means that Grenada has to go and lease 2 planes so that we can fly between Grenada and Barbados, Grenada and Trinidad. We will have to do so. Because the truth is, you can't get to Trinidad.
So you're saying you're willing to, and it is possible for Grenada to get ahead there and get our own planes for air travel?
If we have to, we will. I prefer not to, because I certainly think it's in the overall interest of all of us to do it together, for obvious reasons. Right? But let's put it this way, I'm optimistic it will not get to that. I think we have relatively new prime ministers in the region. I think we all recognize how embarrassing it is even as heads of government to fly. I have not flown, I think, on a commercial carrier regionally. It's been the RSS that has been flying me around whenever I have to leave Grenada to go to Trinidad or to get to Suriname or to get to Barbados, or they've had to charter a flight. I mean, if I'm experiencing that as a Prime Minister, imagine what the average Grenadian or the average Vincentian is going through. So I think it's incumbent upon us as Prime Ministers to lead. And in those circumstances, I don't think we have a choice but to bite the bullet. So this is not just, in a sense, the idea that we will have airlines which make money like a normal private commercial business is naive.
In international news, the U.S. states of Florida and North and South Carolina are assessing the damage after Hurricane Ian. Early estimates put the cost between $30 billion to $100 billion, which could make it one of the costliest storms to ever hit the United States of America.
Tallying up the losses from Hurricane Ian has only just begun.
Our roof is in the back of the house.
For these retirees, seeing the damage to their homes and neighborhood was overwhelming.
There's no words for it. It's like, holy cow, what a mess.
The southwest coast of Florida took the brunt of wind and storm surge, but the impact of the heavy rainfall was felt further inland and up the United States' eastern coast. Experts say wetter storms is one impact of climate change.
The majority of the cost, as well as the lives lost as a result of hurricanes and tropical cyclones, comes from flooding. It comes from storm surge. It comes from the rainfall.
One of the costliest storms in U.S. history, Superstorm Sandy, wasn't even a hurricane by the time it got here in New York, and yet here's where it did the most damage. $82 billion in flooding and infrastructure costs. Some early estimates for Hurricane Ian are approaching that. More than 40,000 utility workers were dispatched to Florida alone to help restore power. Water mains and roads have also suffered extensive damage, not to mention bridges. The governor said 800 of them were in need of assessment. President Biden declared a disaster in Florida, paving the way for federal assistance for infrastructure as well as individuals.
It means the federal government will provide individual assistance of $37,900 for home repairs, another $37,900 for lost property, for everything from the automobile to a lost wedding ring.
With several healthcare facilities damaged and forced to evacuate, health impacts and related costs will take years to fully understand.
And it's gone in a flash.
While the human costs remain incalculable.
In sports, West Indies and Jamaican batsman John Campbell has been given a 4-year ban for evading, refusing or failing to submit to a sample collection by JADCO on April 20, 2022. The decision came Friday evening from the Independent Anti-Doping Disciplinary Panel. According to the document, Campbell's ban will be backdated to early May of this year. The 28-year-old Campbell has so far played 20 test matches at an average of 20.61, 6 one-day internationals and 2 T20s for the Windies. He was accused by JADCO of refusing to provide a blood sample on April 20 of this year at his home in New Kingston. In this first episode of CPL Diaries, Newsroom Guyana's Akeem Green chats with Guyanese John Michael Ramsing about his passion for cricket commentary and how his life has been transformed in the profession.
Welcome to match 22 of Hero CPL 2022. It's the big one. Table toppers Barbados Royals against bottom of the table, the Guyana Amazon Warriors, and we're here to bring it to you live on your favorite radio station. My name is John Ramsing, and alongside me we have Tony Gray, Nikhil Upton Tamdani, and of course Colin Murray. And we're coming to you from the wonderful Brian Lara Cricket Academy. This has been a very, very good hunting ground for the Amazon Warriors, but today they're up against a very good Barbados Royals unit. Well, actually I was destined for cricket at some point in time because cricket has given me everything. Since starting as a young person, started to play cricket, play club cricket, and then academically I was inclined to sciences because that's where I was heading in terms of a career. My family wanted me to become a medical doctor. So the only way to get into that field, I actually started to do the sciences. And at university, while at university pursuing my degree in biology, which was a precursor to get into medicine, I was offered a part-time job at the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation, and that's where it all started. And from there, you know what poets say, the rest is history. Even at university, pursuing a degree in biology, I was on the weekend doing sport, doing reports for the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation. And when 2002 came, late 2002, and I got the opportunity to do some radio commentary, I took that on. 2003, started regional commentary. 2004, despite being off-screen, had some international commentaries and so on. So grew up in that commentary background, radio background, and now you can say settling in nicely. Yeah, working alongside the late great Tony Koja and some of the big names as well, our very own Joseph Respirera, Sean Devers, Indrajit Prasad, Fazir Mohammed. Those are some of the persons, and I think those are like some real bright spots. Also getting the opportunity to see most of Guyana, the coast of Guyana, where cricket is played, most of the Caribbean islands and other countries, and also around the world. So it's like many bright spots to look at, but I think making comrades and camaraderies around the world as you go, that is something that you'll take to your grave.
I mean, this being my first year in radio commentary, doing this CPL 2022 season, and to have someone alongside me like John, who's been on the flip side of that, very experienced, going to St. Kitts, then St. Lucia, now Trinidad, and having John to work alongside him, not only his knowledge in terms of the CPL and players, also the fact that he's worked with the Ghana franchise, and me, we're also working in a franchise, I think it gives you so much more perspective. So that's been something that we've been able to flow nicely in our commentary, using sort of that player perspective to then help in the commentary, but just being alongside him, guiding me through tough, sometimes you get that stage where it's high pressure and a lot of things happening, you know, you have sponsored obligations, you have to get in scores, etc. I think having a seasoned man who's been there time and time again really helped me grow and learn, and definitely is something that I think I'll take throughout the rest of my career.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.